Thank you for entering Hawkeye's House of Horrors. And today I'm going to do a first. It's a ranking of the Howling films. I've seen all eight of them now. I figured why not do this? When there's enough of them to go through one through eight or eight through one. Rank the films, even give them a star rating out of five. Sure, why not? And little input on each of them. And go through ranking the Howling films. And I will definitely say, if you do like this video, don't hesitate to hit the thumbs up down there. As well, you can subscribe there. I've got many more videos for movie reviews, generally horror and science fiction, more or less. And if you want to comment, go ahead, do that. Maybe put your own ranking of the Howling films if you've seen them all. So here we go. And then I'm gonna put the title and the star and everything up at the top of the screen here as I go. So here we go. Coming in at number eight, the absolute bottom of the barrel, in more ways than one. And that is Howling New Moon Rising. I believe this was filmed in 1990 and wasn't released until 1995, and really it just shouldn't have been released. It has got some bad acting, bad writing, bad directing, just plain bad. The laughs are very forced, if you will. It's almost like trying to be a comedy more than a horror film. And it's a really bad attempt in trying to tie up Howling 4 through this now the seventh film to tie them all up. And there was no need. It didn't work. And I would definitely say totally skip this one. And I give this just one star out of five. You can't get any worse than that. I can't take stars away, like have no stars, but this was the bottom of the barrel, and that is Howling New Moon Rising. So, coming in at number seven, and just to let you know as well, this is just my opinion. You may have your own ranking, and it's the exact opposite of what mine is. That'd be strange if it is, but you never know. But yeah, this is just my opinion, and definitely, I'll even put in here films maybe that you should go watch or um, what have you. So, and then number seven now we have got Howling 4, the original Nightmare. Now, this one was directed by John Huff. Now, it was also directed by Clive Turner, I believe, who did as well Howling New Moon Rising. There was a fight between the two, and then Turner stepped behind the camera, I believe, and started shooting the film himself. Um, it's incredible. John Huff directed this thing. The last one of his I seen was Escape to Witch Mountain, I think from the 70s. That was a really good Walt Disney film. Really well made and same director, and I can't tell really that it's the same person. Now it's also a much more uh closer um copy or inspiration from the Gary Brandner novel is this film here rather than the original, but that doesn't mean it's a good film. It's not. I did read the original book. It was okay. But yeah, it doesn't mean this is a good movie. It's pretty bad. There's some bad acting in here generally, almost from every actor. It's not good. There's just one scene I like, transformation scene. I give this 1.5 stars out of five. Ah, should it be that high? I don't know. It's still way better than Howling New Moon Rising, but I didn't like this one. Didn't like it at all. And that's Howling 4, the original Nightmare. So coming in at number six, we have got Howling 2. Your sister is a werewolf. Um, they did something here with this film. Um, it is boring yet very kinky. Somehow that happens. I'm falling asleep while it's weird kinkiness is going on. Somehow they did it. And yeah, like uh, I would say of all the three I've mentioned so far, um, they do have a sense of boredom going on for me in each of them. This one's probably the most boring, maybe. Um, because, well, Howling New Moon Rising is just so off the rails. You're like looking at a train crash or something. But this one, Christopher Lee, the legend, is in this, as well as Sybil Danning. They play siblings. Um, yeah, I don't know how believable that is, but yeah, it's set in Transylvania as well. Pretty bad, and there is some shaky acting in here as well. Came out in 1985. Um, but yeah, that's Howling 2. Your sister is a werewolf. I do actually like the song in the film. It is way overplayed though, but I like that song. But yeah, this one I give 2 stars out of 5. Yeah, when I watch this, I'm just like, okay, is it over yet? Is it over yet? Yeah. So there you go. So now, coming in at number 5 on my list, is the latest Howling film. And in saying that, it is still like 14 years old. I can't believe that. But that is The Howling Reborn. Um, it's definitely a reboot or restart, attempted perhaps restart of the Howling franchise with that film. Um, I would say there's actually some good acting in this film, and there's some good elements to the story that I like as well. The effects are okay. They're maybe the best effects in quite a while. Since well, part six had some real good effects, but um, you might have to, may have to go back to the earlier parts in the franchise. Where the effects are that good. Now, I would say the film becomes undone really through, in my opinion, some pretty bland villains. Other than Will's mother, she's not bland, but the wolf pack is very bland. I find they're not scary. And elements to the story that don't add up or they need further explanation and there is none given and they just race on to the next thing. Um, but I do give it 2.5 stars out of 5. I would suggest this one perhaps to a younger audience, maybe a teenage crowd or maybe fans of the Twilight movies or something. Maybe they'd be into this film here. But yeah, that's The Howling Reborn. All right, so coming in at number 4 now is Howling 6, The Freaks. This is the one, I gave this one 2.5 stars out of 5 as well. But this is the one, maybe if I saw this one again, maybe I might like it. There's a lot going on that is good about the film. There are some bad elements too. Um, but I did like the interesting twist that the werewolf is the good guy, and the bad guy is a vampire. Did like some of the acting in the film, generally from the vampire. Um, was it Bruce Payne that played that part? He does a very good job in that. But yeah, and some really good effects in this film as well. Um, so it's good. I would suggest this one to and any werewolf fan perhaps or anyone that's coming through the Howling franchise. This might be one that you might stop on and you might enjoy. Um, so it just doesn't quite make it for me, but it's definitely one of the better Howlings. I would definitely say that. Coming in at number 4, that's Howling 6, The Freaks. All right, so we're in our top three now. Or top three. And coming in at number three, um, and the rest of them truly enjoy. I give them a passing grade. The final three films in this series. So the first two, I'm gonna try and explain a little bit why I do enjoy them because do think most Howling films aren't thoroughly enjoyed by many people. They're not highly thought of films. But coming in at number three is Howling 3. Now this one, I've seen reviews for it, um, and it's not highly thought of. But this one I've always kind of liked. It definitely is almost like every other Howling film, off the rails. It's actually only rated PG-13, which I think is the only film in the entire series that isn't rated R. But it certainly has still got violence going on and sexuality going on. But it was rated PG-13. It was Australian as well, and it was directed by Philippe Mora, who did Howling 2. I did not like that one, but he came back and did the third one, I think, as almost like I'm sorry I made that one, the Howling 2. Although, yeah, there are fans of Howling 2 out there, but I thought that one was a little too weird and boring for me. Um, but Howling 3, as I said, it takes place in Australia. The last half of it happens in the outback. Now, at the same time, the last half of the film to me isn't quite as good as the first half of the film. Um, I it tends to slow down a bit once they get to the outback, and um, it should be ramping up its speed, right? And it's not. It's going the reverse. And it may have come up with a very bland, subpar ending, but it kind of recovers and comes up with a bit of a wow ending for Howling 3. And I think there's some good acting in here, and there's some good music in here as well. So I liked it. It's definitely an off the rails film. I enjoy it. I don't take it seriously. It has absolutely nothing to do with the other Howling films, so just watch this one on its own. But yeah, coming in number three, that is Howling 3. So coming in at number two on my ranking list is Howling 5, The Rebirth. So, I've always liked this film as well. It definitely follows the 10 Little Indians kind of style. That was a book by Agatha Christie, which was a whodunit. So you have to figure out who the murderer is. Here, yeah, you do, but at the same time, it's a werewolf. So you have to figure out who the werewolf is. I like that. That's an interesting twist that works for me. Um, but at the same time, there's some shaky acting in this. It definitely has a direct to video look going on. Doesn't bother me, um, but it's almost got like a darker tone to the picture. I would say this film, um, but this one was as well by Clive Turner. He did 4, 5, and 7, and this is the only one he did that I liked. But he plays Ted in this. Um, but if you like this, I would suggest not going to watch part 7. Um, don't do that. Just enjoy this film as its own little werewolf story. Um, yeah, go with that. And that's Howling 5, The Rebirth. And I gave that 3 stars as well, much like Howling 3, 3 stars out of 5. So that leaves us one last film in the Howling franchise. Hmm. I wonder which one it is. That's right. It's the original. Joe Dante's The Howling. I love this film. This is really none of the sequels ever get any justice to the original, right? Or like the second one was actually a sequel to the original. It was just a really bad sequel, in my opinion. But in this film here, I think we've got the best acting in the series, um, from the likes of Dee Wallace, Christopher Stone. Um, you even have Slim Pickens in there, John Carradine. Some of the best acting in the series is right in the original film. Um, it's got certainly a script from John Sayles, based on the book by Gary Brandner, but the film and the novel are very different. Um, Different characters. There's more characters in the film than there are in the book, and it's also the funniest. There's a lot of film nods or film jokes. Like a lot of the characters are named after directors of werewolf films, or there's things to do with wolf. Um, I think one of the people is reading Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or they have Wolf brand chili. Slim Pickens is eating. There's stuff like that in there that you can pinpoint on and brings a smile to your face. Um, and it's also got definitely the best music in the series, and that's by Pino Donaggio. Uh, Great music, um, lovely stuff there, and as well, it has got the best effects. And this is 1981, everybody, and it was never outdone. And it was done by Rob Bottin, the werewolf transformation. It's great. I gotcha. I may have said it, I'll say it again. No, it's not as good as American Werewolf in London by Rick Baker. There are moments in the werewolf transformation where you're like, okay, I can tell that's not a person. I can tell that's just a head. But it was never outdone, in my opinion, in any of the other films in the series. And there you have it, The Howling. I love that film. I actually feel like watching it right now. Um, but anyways, there you go. There's my ranking of The Howling, and The Howling I gave 4 stars out of 5. Um, to me, that's a really good rating for a film. 4 stars out of 5. Um, but there you have it, my ranking of the Howling films. So there you go. Yeah, if you want to comment, go ahead, put your own ranking in there, or maybe thoughts on what I said about the films that you agree or disagree with. Whatever. It's just my opinion. But yeah, I would say that's that. So until next time, have yourself a wonderful day.